welcome everybody. So why don't you go ahead with your question, B, and we'll see what we can.
I must move to Colorado, US. Could you comment?
I think I understand what you're asking. So we know that the continental divide, right, that divides the mountains from the plains in Colorado,
Yes.
right? Because Colorado is basically cut in half, right? Kind of, right?
Yeah.
Mountains to the west and plains to the east. The issue will be if you get too close to the mountains on the plain, well then, like for example, Denver is toast, right? So I say toast. It means it's going to be destroyed.
I see.
Because the mountains will move, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the problem is that okay, the problem is that how far away is safe from the mountains. That's the thing, right? So I made up a map a few years ago for the safety people who set up on the plains, right? And I've figured about 50, you want to be about 50 miles from the mountain range to the east of the mountain range. But now I'm thinking more like 100 miles.
What changed from this time?
It's a question. You see, when I did the video, I was, we know the danger areas. Even, are you familiar with Zeta Talk at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So
Zeta
Talk doesn't say where, right? So a lot of the stuff I almost take exclusively from Zeta Talk, and I formulate it into something that people can understand, right? But there's no description as to how far you have to be, because so a person has to use their own judgment, right? So when I looked at when I did that map up, I took a guess. Now, many times when I'm doing these things, I get guide input. My spiritual guides will say things, right? Will say, right, that's too close, or whatever, something like that. But I don't know that I had that input when I decided on 50 miles. Okay. So that was 6 years ago I did that, right? So every time I do a safe location consulting with people, that, and I read Zeta Talk, every couple of days I'm reading something about Zeta Talk. I'm always studying, right? So my understanding gets updated as we go along.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Even people that send me, I see that send me messages about visions that they've had about certain areas, right? And I'll use that, because a vision is a very excellent thing from a source of knowledge, right? So this is all esoteric knowledge that you can't get from, you'd have to be a geological, what do they call it? A geologist expert on the Colorado plains in order to get even close to what you'd need to do, right? Even then, very few geologists are pole shift aware. And even if they are pole shift aware, it's hard to imagine the kind of forces that would move the continental plate 20 or 30 miles to the east. I mean, the forces are beyond imagination, right? So that's some of the influences in why I'm saying 100 miles now, right? Because you could have a rock strata underneath the ground, right? From Denver east. And if they get and they're lined up enough, they could push, extend quite a ways, right? I mean, many, many miles. So it's hard to know that information. However, when I do, for example, a private consultation, then I get addresses and I get coordinates. Okay. And then now we're getting specific. And then I can get updated from my guides on that particular location has to be it. Okay. So yeah, so why? So did you have any particular reason why you wanted to be on the plains and not on the mountains?
I want to be closer to my daughters.
To your daughter,
Utah, I don't know. Utah is good
Utah.
to move.
No, she's asking if the state of Utah is any good because maybe she has other loved ones there and
thank
not in
you.
Colorado.
You're asking about Utah then?
Yes, I have one in Utah state.
Okay. Just
Easier.
checking to make sure, because I appreciate Brian's input.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah. Well, Utah, of course, the ground is very stable.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's well known, right? It's the salt flats, and they've been there for multiple pole shifts.
Yes.
Okay. But the problem with Utah is it has I believe it's 233 dams and reservoirs. And they're all going to break. Right? So that means any low area or river basin or river
Yes.
is going to be a raging. It's going to be beyond if you look at if you look at what happens to a dam when it breaks downstream, it's mind-blowing what the water does, right? So this
Run
is
away from this place. Run away from Utah,
well,
right?
it's too late to run, right? You can't run from that.
Yeah.
You can't run. So that's why I say for people who live continentally, like Utah or on the plains or in the mountains, right? The biggest danger is rogue moving water. We're seeing it now. I was just watching a video earlier. In fact, so this is Spain today,
Oh, yeah.
right? So you see how fast that water is flowing. That's a flash flood, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So and that's just a flash flood, right? So if you had a dam that breaks, the water is. I had actually a great video of it. I don't have it here, but what it looks like when a dam breaks is just the water will just run right up the mountainside as it's going down. It just goes right up the. Yeah, it just goes like that, right? So it's just bizarre. So that's what I try to tell people, that moving water is the greatest danger. Yes, Brian, did you have something to add, Brian?
Yeah, so like anticipation of stuff like this, would they like drain down Hoover Dam a bit? It's like, why have Hoover Dam all the way up knowing it's gonna go swoosh?
That's a very, very good point. With the change in the administration coming up, right, almost globally, I would think a lot of that sort of stuff would be possible. And I think it's the same with nuclear. There's a lot of people concerned about nuclear power stations, right? And I think they'll all be shut down in time. So I'm getting a yes that they're going to be doing some of that. I'm getting a yes. But you know, that would only be, you know, how many, you can't locate closer to a river because on that, we know it's going to happen, but because I've just got a yes on it, but I wouldn't say worldwide, right? Some states might be, because in the last weeks or months, right, there's going to be a lot of chaos, right? And dams and reservoirs are run by government employees, right? So you can't be.
Or who's going to show up to work necessarily at the Hoover
I
Dam?
don't think so. I don't think so. But you know, the good people will, because they know that other people will be threatened if they don't do that, right? So we just, yeah. So you just don't want to be near. I mean, all it means is instead of locating it at 200 feet above the river, you locate it 8 or 1,000 feet above the river, right? Or at a distance. But we're just talking general terms here. I will tell a story about that. I have a friend who I knew here. In fact, we had an actual pole ship group of about 8 people back in 2010, and we would meet in my house and talk about strategies and stuff like that. We disbanded in 2011, but she and I remain friends, and she's a clairvoyant. And so anyways, so a couple of years ago, I helped her move her stuff into the car or something. We did a bunch of stuff, and she went to her safe location, which is in the Kootenays. Now, I'm not sure if you know, this is Canada, right? So I'm not sure you know what the Kootenays are like, but they're a series of high mountain ranges and low valleys with very, very long lakes in them. And these lakes are mainly reservoirs, right? And dams and reservoirs. So Canada, and that's actually part of the problem for the US, is because especially through Washington and Oregon, because all the dams will break in. Now, you know, whether they'll let the water out, we don't know. We're hoping so, right? But well, okay, well, she had a vision. This is interesting, Brian. And B, okay, so she's a clairvoyant. So I, you know, we talked, and I said, well, you know, those dams and reservoirs is what that, and yeah. So anyways, so she told me that before she moved to the Kootenays, right, which is basically, the Kootenays is an area, southeastern BC, where you have all the communities are right on the river or right on the lake, right? Like most communities in the world, right? Anyways, so she said that she had a vision of, now the way she put it is actually, it's quote, a big dirty wave came down and covered everything. That's what she said to me. A big dirty wave came down and covered everything, right? So that's a guaranteed, right? That's guaranteed to happen because she had a vision, and she's a clairvoyant not by trade, but she is a clairvoyant. So
then, Chris, the area that she had a clairvoyant vision of being flooded with all this brown stuff, that was the Kootenays, or that wasn't the Kootenays?
It was in the Kootenays.
And that's where she's going as her safe spot.
Yeah.
So
well,
then
she knows what to do. She knows what to do.
Okay. At the point where you're going to get flooded, like,
no, she's aware.
Okay.
And I said, well,
Okay.
you better get up high. And she knows to do that, right? And she's got family there, and you know, she's there for family. And also, the mountain there is apparently full of crystals, and that's what she's excited about. She's a you know, high vibrating person. She's a great lady. Russian, actually. Dukabor, Russian. And she's a great lady. And yeah, so So I think it'll be happening somewhere. But anyways, that's the thing about Utah, and the fact that it's very flat. Like I know we've got mountains in Utah. So if a person is up in the mountains, it can work. Okay.
Park City. No. Thank you.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Where are you now? Did you tell me? Sorry, I may have forgotten.
This is Virginia.
You're in Virginia?
Yes.
Where in
Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia?
So yes.
So what, don't give me your address, but what town are you near?
Winchester.
Winchester?
Upper North, yes. By mountain, by Shenandoah Valley.
Okay. So you just have to go uphill a little bit, right? Virginia's I mean, if you're far enough from the coast, right?
Yeah.
Winchester? Yeah. Caves.
Yes, caves.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, you're on the flats there, right? Yeah, that'll flood, of course, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's flat, see?
See, I see.
Yeah, so then you're going to have, yeah, so you want to be up higher, right?
Hideout somewhere east, right? West, right? Yeah, I
West,
know.
yeah, you have lots of choice there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're positioned better than a lot of people are, right? So a lot of people are having to move thousands of miles, right, to get into
Really?
a safe location, right? For example, people in Florida or Louisiana or yeah. So
Can I raise a point there, Chris? Because
yeah,
I've got friends who are coming through and they want to go to Puerto Rico to help with like disaster relief efforts. And I'm kind of like letting them know, hey guys, in a year and a half, Puerto Rico,
even before that, because you look what's happening to Puerto Rico. It's right on the it's involved in the earthquake activity, right? So, and it's not a good, will you be able to get off the island, right? Jet flight or air flight is becoming more and more dangerous because of EMP pulses, right? So, yeah.
you got a question in the chat here, Chris,
I do.
From Trisha. I was
Okay.
wondering how you feel about Crossville, Tennessee. I am on a plateau.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Oh, okay. Well, let's take a look. Trisha.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I'm trying to get my video. I don't know how to get my video to show a picture.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, here. So, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you're near the town of Crossville?
I'm in the town of Crossville.
Okay. Well, okay. I mean, there's a lot of little rivers around there. They're all going to swell 3 times their historical, right? Their historical height.
Now I have a little creek that runs through my property.
Yeah.
Is that not good?
That's not good.
Okay.
And it's not good that you're in a town.
Okay.
The thing that, the recurring theme about safe locations is that there's a number of layers of reality that people have to understand. Once the pole shift hits, you're going to have a lot of people wandering around looking for food. because
Right.
they're not going to be prepared,
Right.
right? So, and some of them will be desperate, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so you, so the first thing you need to consider, well, okay, even before the first thing, which I was going to say, is you really need to relocate to a hidden location.
Okay.
Like that's, people can't see from
Right.
from a valley bottom,
Right.
from a road,
Right.
floating down a creek, a river. They can't
Right.
see from the river, and they can't see you from a lake. So the
Right.
whole thing, that, speaking generally, that a lot of people, when they first become aware, they're thinking maybe we can move our old lifestyle into the after time, as it were, through the pole shift, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm saying it's a different life we're going to, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so you're if you got any jet skis or rebuilt old classic cars,
Right.
anything that's, that is not viable. Actually, now that I think about it, the old classic car, if you got one, would be a good to have, because
Right. Right.
because it won't have any computers in it.
Yes, absolutely.
So a lot
Yes.
of the guys,
Yeah.
local guys that I run into when I go up north on my motorcycle, they got, all these great old cars. We all come into the same gas station, and they've got like these great cars. They get them all rebuilt, right? And they put,
Uh-huh.
many of them, they put electronic ignition into them. So you don't want that. But if you got some old car, they're great for a certain amount of moving around the aftertime, because of the analog, because they don't have electronics in them. But you'll run out of gas, so don't expect to use them for too long. I'm
Hey,
off
Chris,
topic here. Yes, Brian. Yeah.
well, I wanted to ask about that. How long do we have to worry about EMP effects? Like, what if, hey, I wanted to bury a car in an underground area, or not bury, but underground parking structure, and it's shielded? Is it like I can, come out a week later and then it'll be okay? Or no, this is going to EMP for a while to
Oh,
come?
no, right away, because the EMP comes from the closeness of the Planet X,
Okay.
tail of Planet X.
So
right?
once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. You're good. You're good. So day after, right? Yeah. So Tricia, we were talking about the safe location concept, right? And
Uh-huh.
different layers of right. So I remember what I wanted to say, and so I've driven this home with Vass is here. Hi, Vass.
Hey, Chris.
um, so you want a piece of property with a house on it, right?
Okay. Yes.
Some people are buying property. In fact, I was talking to some people recently in a consult, right, a private consult, where they're looking at raw land,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so unless you know what you're doing, about putting a road in, or building a temporary structure, or but there's different strategies, right? But I
Yeah.
think that if you're in the market, if you can find a piece of property with a tumble down old cabin, right?
Yeah. I
Well,
want to I want to underground. I would like to do, I like the little hobbit houses,
Okay.
but something, underground.
But that brings up a very good point for you that I want to make, is that you wanting to, and there's a very, I totally agree that it's a wonderful thing to be able to live, partially underground, but not entirely, right?
Right.
Yeah, but to live certainly on the ground, and it'd be wonderful to have, soil around your house, so that
Mhm.
at least parts of your home is virtually up against soil,
right.
Yeah, so I really believe in that. But I just want to make it clear, because we were talking about this earlier, that once the planet we call Planet X or Nibiru, once the pole shift happens, it's just a matter of hours before Planet X, that planet will be out of reach. So
Right.
so all the EMP pulse problems that are going to increase as we
Right.
get closer to the pole shift are going to be gone.
Right.
Now, the
So like,
only, okay, but on the flip side, or another facet of this discussion, is that after the pole shift occurs, the process of the pole shift removes about, I think, somewhere between 40 to 60% of the Earth's atmosphere. Did you know that?
no.
Yeah. So, and so what builds the atmosphere up quite quickly will be the sea.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't know this until about 10 years ago. I had no idea that was, but this is Zeta Talk information. So
Okay.
it will come from the sea. So
I like to learn. I
yeah,
like to,
yeah. So that means that there will be too much ultraviolet radiation from the sun to go outside in the immediate aftertime. Okay.
okay.
So that means that we should work outside at night or dusk and dawn, right? To night through nighttime, and do our resting and sleeping during the day for the first 6 months or so. Which
Okay.
is okay. So, speaking of radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, that's why I encourage people to buy a simple ultraviolet detector.
Okay.
Okay. They don't cost much. And what I suggest is that people become aware, like now, like what the normal, maybe you know this already in your work, but then there's normal levels that they're safe, right? Of ultraviolet radiation.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
am.
So you're talking about I believe it's in Switzerland.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
there's one in, I'm sure you know
Yeah.
too. There's actually one in Oak Ridge.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay,
30
all right.
minutes away from me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Okay. So that's the old New World Order. No, I'm just going to use buzzwords here. Okay.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah.
The New World Order, the Illuminati, the the super elite families that have been running the world for centuries. But it's all going away.
Yes. Yeah. And
Okay,
oh,
because the global alliance of military has been formed,
okay.
and they are virtually very, very busy going around the world and collecting these people and taking them to military tribunals. And
Yes. The International Tribunal.
they're no, the what was that called? The International Criminal Court, the
And
ICC.
I'm going to put in the chat.
Yeah, they actually they were New World Order Illuminati, and all the UN has been emptied, is gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the ICC and the International Monetary Association and all those, they're rounded up. It's all empty now.
Wow. That's awesome.
And so there's a whole new world coming, and that is now I'm tapped in to some like there's three sources I'm tapped into. One is Zeta Talk.
Okay.
One is Romana Didillo, who is the new leader
Okay.
for Canada, and
Okay.
on her site. And another one is you might want to, he is quite cool. I'm gonna find his, I got him here. It's Benjamin Fulford.
Benjamin Fulford.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just have to do a search and you'll find him. And so he talks about all the stuff going on in the background, all the is just, and if you want another one, I'm telling you, this is it's hard to read this stuff because it's pretty rough going on what's going on. Real Raw News.
Okay. Oh, real long. Okay.
Yeah. And
That's military tribunals.
yeah, and he's got, yeah, thank you. And he's
Yep.
got, he's detailed what's going on in the military tribunals.
Okay.
And it's, I'm telling you, and I'll make sure you feel like going in there when you start reading that stuff, because it's really real. As I said, I keep saying, the truth is stranger than fiction. You know the benefits of denial,
Yes.
right?
Oh, absolutely.
The benefits of denial, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but that's so, that comes right down to the whole point about the pole shift is that, you try to tell people about the pole shift and they're, if they're not ready to know.
Yeah. Well, they can't, they're not on page 1 yet. So
No,
it's like, oh my gosh.
And they're still plugged into the society, the culture.
Exactly. Yes.
The lattes and the
Right.
movies, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
hell,
Everything's gonna be all good. We're all good. Yeah. It's like, all right, you
Yeah,
just go.
yeah.
So true.
So, that's, they're young souls, there's a lot of
Yes.
that most humans are young souls. And
Yes.
some
Yeah.
are brand new souls.
Yes.
Did we make it clear on what, so get yourself a cabin,
Yeah.
right?
But now my mom lives in Rogersville, Tennessee. It's like,
Okay. Well, depending where they are, right? Obviously,
Okay.
Rogersville is not a good, the actual town, that whole, as you can see, it's in a valley bottom, right?
okay,
So that's actually not a good location.
it's
Even
not a good.
though, even though you're close to some great locations to the northwest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. My husband just said there's a lot of lakes around there. And
Okay,
okay.
yeah. So if you get up on these ridges here,
So you have to get on the ridges.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
my opinion is that you don't want to be on a slope of land, right? So
Okay.
if your land you have options. I should have saved this wonderful land that this one of my people that I consulted was living in Portugal, and she had this beautiful piece of land that had, rolling land that had, some mountain areas, had a creek, so if you get a place that's got a variety of landform, but you want,
Right.
for example, if I was settled somewhere here, you see this area here, can you see my cursor?
Yes. Yes.
So this is on, well, I wouldn't say it was flat, but it's pretty close to, not flat. Let me just. 919. Yeah, it's only 19 feet, right? Drop there.
Huh?
So
Right.
that would be someplace that would be a good place to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even over here, this looks 1985. 2000. So yeah, so you get the point is you don't want to be, for example, you wouldn't want to be on a hillside like that. If your property was just the slope, the mountain slope,
Right.
you don't want that.
You don't want that.
I mean, it would be lovely if we didn't have a pole shift.
Okay. Okay. So I don't mean to be like, but why would you not want to be on the I mean, because I'm thinking like I could build my little house in that slope.
Yes, you can. No, that's totally true, right?
Okay,
But the thing is, do you want to build your house before the pole shift?
yes.
That was rhetorical.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Sorry, no.
Okay,
What I keep saying that whatever's above ground before the
Yeah.
pole shift is going to be destroyed,
okay,
right? So
okay,
now I've got a client in what's his name, in 40 miles north of Melbourne, Australia.
okay,
And he's bought some property, and it's like it's high,
okay,
and it's relatively level.
okay,
Has some curves, right? Has a bit of, but it's relatively level. And
okay,
he's building an underground. He's having it built, and it's an underground house,
okay.
10-inch walls, cement walls.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. And so I asked him to send me the plans because I want to comment on what I want to look at it, right?
Yeah,
And comment on it. So, but that's 500 grand,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
So, but you don't have to have anywhere near that kind of money to build a nice little earth ship, right?
right, right,
Right. But what I would suggest is that, well, unless you design, because the problem is because of all the water that's going to be falling and moving around during the pole shift.
yeah,
So I have a client that he has a house, and it's got ditches, deep ditches on either side of the house.
mm-hmm,
It's facing the mountain slope. And so these are really deep, right?
right,
And they could likely deflect, right? Deflect the water coming down the slope, right?
right,
So that's one thing you got to deal with. But depending on the design, I mean, if it's designed to withstand earthquakes, and you've got ditches around it, and it's not going to be attacked by mud flows or landslides, right?
right.
So I just wish I had more time to do this, but to get into the design, and I don't have enough knowledge, right? But I've called people who make tornado shelters.
Yeah,
I called them. I said,
yeah,
and I tried to tell this guy, I said, this pole shift coming, and your tornado shelters could be tweaked to become great pole shift shelters.
right.
And so unfortunately, the conversation went sideways, because I told him I had the followers on YouTube, and he's got more followers, and I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was like,
I know,
I tried twice, 2 different suppliers,
right,
and they're not pole shift. Anyways, the point is that you kind of, so if you have plans to build something beforehand,
right.
if you could have them, some drawings made up,
Uh-huh.
I'd be happy to comment on them.
Okay, thank you.
What kind of tweaks?
Sorry?
Where you're like, oh, like, hey, I was talking to, you tried to get these guys to embrace tweaks to make their shelters more pole shift
Oh,
friendly.
yeah, I
like
was trying to. Yeah, I was trying to. But they I couldn't get to first base, right?
I mean, like how would you make?
Oh, well, that's you know what? Can you hold that thought, Brian? Can you hold a thought? Because Ariana has had her hand up for about a half hour. Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here, okay. So.
Yes.
So since you've been waiting so patiently with your hand up, why don't you ask your question? She takes it down. Yeah, so why don't you go ask your question, and then I'll get back to Brian with his question. It's a great question. So, but I want to hear what your question is. If you want to go ahead.
Well, you could answer this question first. I just had a question about Mexico, right? Because we were trying to look for a location in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because like I stated the last time I spoke with you, we're in Detroit, Michigan.
Right. I remember
And
your hair.
yes.
I remember your hair.
Okay. Well, yes, we are planning to move to Mexico. So I had a question about, oh, it just went away. I
Okay.
think it's
Safe location.
yeah, safe location in Mexico. I just had one, a place I was looking at.
Okay. Is that your husband I hear talking there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you guys are working together.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we were just looking for a safe location in Mexico. We had the name of a city that we came across. Right now, it's not crossing our minds. We don't know not to be nowhere near water. That's one thing, or near the borders, correct?
Yeah, okay. So why don't we guys get work it out and then put it in the, oh, is that it right there? Somebody's just put in a, anyways, if you want to put that in the chat, okay?
Okay.
When you remember it. Okay?
Okay. And another thing, I would like you, can you post?
That's it. Yes. Somebody just put it in there. That's exactly where I was thinking about.
That's it.
Well,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Again,
That's
somebody just
Cammy. Cammy did that. So,
okay. Well, see, great minds think alike.
I'm moving to Mexico.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm moving to Mexico, so I'm doing the research.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So, well, okay. We'll look at that then right now then. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's on the flat. It's there's a dam. Looks like there's a dam there.
Mm.
That's a
Is it?
dam. That's a reservoir. The whole town's gonna flood. It's got too many people in it,
Right.
right? Now, it can work as a jumping off spot. You know, so if you're in San Diego now, right? I'm sorry, San Diego?
Detroit,
Detroit.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan, right. So, but on this is like, you know, you wait, it's just way too big of a town to be close to.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, you were locating somewhere out in the hills around it. Okay?
And a little bit more central to the west.
Oh. Well, it's still safe there. It's still safe there. For example, the town itself, you talk about the sea, it's at 6,000 feet. There's no problem with the sea there. The sea waves, right?
Right.
Right. But the general area works, right? So you heard my dialogue on, you know, you want to be hidden, right?
Yes.
Right.
And, you know, so if you're moving, you know, 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles from Detroit, Michigan, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's, you know, it is probably a good strategy to, you know, rent a house somewhere or in that town somewhere, you know, and look from there,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Okay. And you want to be, you don't want to be seen. You want to be in a small community, right? The friends, like-minded people, right? And you know, so if you don't, to be not seen, that means you have to be, you know, in the hills and not on the main road, you know, and you want soil, and you want to be up from the high enough from the valley bottom. So I've said to people, well, you don't want to be too close to the river on the valley bottom.
Right.
And then they say, well, there's no river down there. Well, there's going to be. Right.
Try a little
So-
bit more to the
Oh,
west,
sorry.
there's a little town called Mineral de Pozos, and it's got about 3,000 people. And there's some nice land around there that you could get up into the hills and on plateaus.
Okay, put that in the chat. So let's just share that screen. Okay.
The thing you have to be really careful with Mexico is there's lots of aqueducts underneath the ground. They have a lot of hot springs and hot mineral waters.
That sounds
So,
awesome.
yeah, but you got to be careful of the land because you don't know what's underneath, and there's lots of mines because they get a lot of silver and gold mining down there.
Okay.
And also the cables, I guess, with the, you know, the cables are for electricity and water and stuff like that. Water apparently is a problem. So you have to be really careful of all of that. It's
Okay.
under the ground, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's, you see, this is where waking dreams come in so handy. Because they'll direct you away from dangerous areas that would be otherwise hard to determine.
Right.
Right? And so how do we see your name? Is it Ariana? Oh,
Ayana.
Ayana.
Ayana, right. I remember now. Okay. So Ayana, you want to set your intentions so that, you know, moving forward, you know, you're going to be in a safe location, right? That's,
Yes.
that you're safe, right? And that, that you have,
Water.
you know, that you find it in a timely manner,
Mhm.
right? And so set those intentions that are not location specific,
Right.
right? And then you two of you decide what you want to set the intentions on, and then you go ahead and just say that's what you want. You agree on it, and then let it go, right? And then the universe will move you. Basically, how I say it, it'll move the world underneath you around to fit where you want to be. You follow?
Yes.
Man, so do.
Yeah, it's like okay, it's like, you know, like, okay, we're gonna move them over here, right there, right? And they don't know, right? But you see an ad or something, and boom, you go and you're there, right? And it's just it's a miraculous process, but it works. Okay, so as far as this area is concerned, you know, unfortunately, I don't
Jump
know.
off. The jump off spot. You called it a jump off spot?
Yeah, well, if you use a jump off spot, oh yeah, if you want to set something like that up, yeah.
Right.
It's a good idea. And then if you've had any shall we say visions or dreams,
Yeah.
okay, or if you've got some very intense a very strong hunch,
Right.
okay.
Can I ask Chris,
Yeah.
Ayana and Mr. Williams, why, you know, Mexico, it's such a great, huge place. Why that town? And then my one question is, like, are you proficient in Spanish and stuff? Because, you know, are you going to be going from like Detroit to like wherever in Mexico, you're gonna be surrounded by all these locals that, do you know them and are you gonna be able to team up with them and all that?
Well, I know someone that's down there right now, and they're in Yucatan, and that's not gonna be there. Right.
Okay, so you're hoping to team up with that person.
Yeah, like right now, she's been pretty much telling me different locations and things such as that. But the reason why I kind of chose like in the middle part is because of what Chris was saying. Like, I don't want to be nowhere where there's gonna be like volcano activity and different stuff like that. So I've been trying to pick somewhere that's like kind of in the middle, because I know, you know, it's surrounded kind of by water. I mean,
Yeah, actually,
don't really have-
it's a good, what we're looking right now is very good, because when you have to remember, after the pole shift, it's gonna, the Mexico's going to be basically sideways, so all the volcanoes will be south of that area.
Okay,
Correct.
so
You want to be anywhere north of Mexico City for the lack of volcanoes.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Cami. So if you see my, I'm sorry, Ayana? Oh,
Yes, sir.
Ayana.
Yes.
Have you seen my Mexico video? Safe location?
Yeah, like,
Okay, all right, because it's in there, what Cami's talking about.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, okay, so set your intentions,
yeah.
Okay.
right? And then ask for a sign.
Okay.
We
Ask for a
did-
sign.
I was just gonna answer, was it Ben's question? No, sorry, what was your name?
Ayana.
Ayana.
No, Brian, sorry, I was just gonna
Oh,
ask
Brian.
a question. Brian, for me, I'm in the Caribbean. So like your friend in Puerto Rico there, I've got to get out of town because my island's gonna be underwater. So I've got to pick somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna go back to Canada. So I figured Mexico would be, you know, the next biggest landmass that I could survive in. And I have some Spanish because I've lived in the Caribbean here.
I hope you team up with Ayana and husband then,
Well,
and then their
I'm
crew.
gonna be emailing this lady.
Right.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple other people there in Mexico too, so, you know, maybe we can look at getting a group together and talk about it or something.
Yeah, well, why don't
Yeah, that would be good.
Sounds good.
why don't you, so how can we do this? You see, when I turned off private sharing on these Zoom sessions,
Mhm.
right? Because I didn't want, I wanted to make sure that nothing, you know, happens that, I didn't want anything to happen that I didn't, because you see, I run the big Facebook group, and just
Yeah.
today I found out there's this guy, he's been messaging 50, 100 people. So I had to block him, you know?
Wow.
So I'm concerned, you know, I'm present company accepted, you know. So can you figure out a way to exchange?
Yeah, Telegram.
What you can do is,
What about Telegram? Are you on Telegram?
You can say hi to each other on Telegram on your Telegram
Yes,
channel,
yes,
Chris.
I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
so why don't you
so-
do that? And so what name are you under, Ayana?
Good question. Let me see.
Okay. So if you want to do this,
Well, you'll
Both of
see
you-
me on Telegram because I'm one of the admins. So
Yeah.
you'll see me there, Cami or Camille.
yeah, Camille, that's right.
Okay.
So there you go. All right. So what I'll do is I will I'll post in the chat here. Oh, just a sec. I've lost my sec. In the chat is my Telegram group.
Mhm.
Anna, okay?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to save this chat, you can save it, or go there, just click on it now, and then you'll have my, and then you can contact Camille there. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to, now, Brian, hold on, Brian. Yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here and helping. I do. And Camille, by the way, it's great. Also, so we have a hand up here, Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hi, yeah, my name is actually Jel in Telegram. So I don't know, you might not recognize me, but I'm from the Philippines, and I was one of the ones who asked the question about how to go about choosing the right place in the Philippines to stay in. I remember reading in one of your messages that most of the Philippines would be underwater, and ideally we would want to be in a place that's around 1,000 meters, 1,000 feet or above sea level. And then maybe work our way back down after the shift has happened. I've been looking around for places that are above sea level. It's just that honestly, most of them are either forest land or agricultural land. So private citizens are not allowed to purchase these. So it's been kind of a challenge finding a
Okay,
place
all right. So,
my
okay, look,
family.
okay, so have you read Zeta Talk on the Philippines?
Yes, I saw, and I remember reading something. I don't recall if it was there specifically, but something about the Philippines being the new Arctic
Yes.
circle after in the
Okay.
after
All right. Yeah.
times.
So, and what island are you on?
I'm in Luzon, the
On
main
Luzon.
island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. So you have to be, my typical advice is if you can get out of the Philippines,
Okay. Okay.
right? That's what I usually say. But I know
Okay.
it must be very difficult but is that within the realm of possibility for you?
Well, right now I do have relatives based in Manitoba and in California, except in California they're mostly in San Mateo and
Yeah, okay. So
yeah,
hold on now, you've got
Hercules.
relatives in Manitoba, Winnipeg?
Yeah, Winnipeg,
Okay,
exactly.
okay. Can you get to Winnipeg?
Actually, I've been trying to work that out, especially at least for my mother, because it's my mother's sister who's based there, and she's been kind of trying to convince my mom to move. So that might be ideal. In fact, it's funny that you mentioned dreams because just the other night I dreamt of one of my nephews from California running into my house, grabbing me by like my shirt and saying, "Let's get out of here. Let's go to Canada. We gotta get out of here." So I don't know
That
if
was a
that's
dream?
like
You had
some
that
sort of
dream? You
sign.
had that
Yeah,
dream?
I just had it 2 nights ago.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I don't know if that's a sign.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is. Because
Yes.
survival in the Philippines, how I describe it is
Uh,
basically you would have to go into the mountains of Luzon to the north,
yeah.
squat if you have to,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and then of course you're young enough for it, but then it becomes Luzon would be pretty much on the circle, so you'd have maybe a month of no
Mhm.
snow, maybe two
So it's
months.
basically either drown or freeze
Yeah,
to
so
death.
well, if you're in Malaysia, anyways, I think one of my regulars is comes in, Melanie. Anyways, she's in, so that's right smack dab, right, much closer to the new South Pole. But Luzon is on the outer edge. So I tell people, well, if you can't get out, then go into the mountains there, and then it's going to be, uh, you know, will you survive? You have to position yourself very carefully. But afterwards, you've got a few weeks, maybe a month or two before the Arctic weather finally socks in. It might take 6 months, I don't know. And then you set up your living, underground living, and then you'll have to move down to the coast, right, as you were saying earlier, and then live underground and fish from the sea for food. So that's a big change for the Filipinos, right? For all of you, right? So, but if you can get to Canada, to Manitoba, make sure when you get there, you call me.
Okay,
I'll give you
okay.
some- I'll give you, you can come in here or you can call me or something. And I'll give you some ideas on where to go in Manitoba, but you get to Manitoba, you're good.
Oh, okay, that's
You
good
want
to
to be in
know.
Winnipeg, but
Yeah.
but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate the
Oh,
advice.
yeah.
I'm kind of new to this, so I've just started researching very recently. So I appreciate that you guys have this page, and thanks for your time and
Well,
helping
you're
everyone.
very welcome, Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay. Are you going to stick around?
Yeah, of course. I'll
Okay,
be
okay.
listening
All
to
right,
the rest.
okay.
to
All
learn
right.
more. Thank you.
All right. So thank you. Okay, great. So don't forget to contact me if you when you you do that. Okay.
I will for sure. Thank
All right.
you.
Okay. Okay. Now, Brian, we were talking about bunker tweaking bunkers, right?
Yeah, and then if everything's going to be switched to the north as we going to come west, and you want nice south facing property, might as well find a mountainside that's facing west right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
And then you're going to talk about like what tweaks would you made to what
Well, okay, well,
shelters?
okay, oh, well, okay. All right, well, okay, so we take a specific, let me take a specific, I'm gonna go to these. Gotta find, oh, by the way, can you guys see my map? Can you see this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
That's the map I work on.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you that I work on a map and I managed to save it. I got it, but this was my new map for safe locations in the US. So anyway, that's off topic. Okay, so
There's a lot of red there.
oh yeah, and unfortunately, it's again, look at that map, and going back to that map, again, it's pretty difficult to actually be very specific in each state, right? You just kind of give areas, and that's what that was about, right? So you can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one idea I had as having, for the poor man's bunker, right?
Yeah, that's pretty. There you go. Go to the junkyard, $50, haul it away, stick it in the ground.
I know. It's some of that, some of those old, old trucks and cars, and they got heavy steel in them.
I like how you see that culvert, that a storm shelter concrete cylinder. I'm
Listen
hearing
here.
that that's a really good way to go, because a lot of people, they're buying up these like Connex cargo containers. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Because the Connex cargo containers, unless you reinforce it right, it can go and just
Oh, I know.
crumple in.
Yeah, so that's why I don't really recommend these unless there's a steel culvert.
Okay, and even the concrete ones, you don't think that would be strong enough?
I wouldn't unless I knew it was reinforced with steel. Right, with steel rebar. And
Yeah.
I know that some septic containers are like that, right? But they need to be heavily modified.
Right. And that's where I also heard then you might as well, if you could just dig out the ground and put in your own concrete and rebar, don't bother burying something. You can just make something awesome. And
yeah. Now,
cheap.
yes, I agree. So see, here's a good idea here. This one is embedded, a concrete. Now this looks like oops, a concrete block, right? That's concrete block there. So that's actually not a good idea, because I wouldn't trust the block being holding with the shaking of the earthquakes, right? But it looks like it's got a poured concrete roof to it, which is really cool, right? So this could be modified. What I would do is in there we can't go in, But what I would do, I would get plywood, 3/4 inch, 1 inch plywood, and line the whole thing, and then stake the plywood, or and then reinforce the plywood between the walls with beams, right? With wooden ties, or 4x4 beams, right? There's a different way you could modify that. That would be a great, if you had that chance, right? But so we're just talking about different ideas here. So going through this list here, I mean, if you've got the money to do it, this one here is it would be a wonderful bunker. All right. But most people don't have that type of money, right?
Chris, I'd like to ask you about this particular point in terms of shelter, because part of me is kind of like, I could go and build some giant underground thing, but if at the end of the day, I only need to be able to ride out, say, 4 or 5 days of hell on earth or whatever, and then after that, I can kind of pop out and build whatever. Maybe I might not invest a lot into a bunker, just enough to get me through 6 days or whatever, and then
I know.
have my resources dedicated.
I'm hearing that. Yeah, I know. Well, there's different strategies, right? So you could use your bunker for cool storage or secure storage, right? So there's that usage, right? Again, it all comes down to a person's resources. And the other angle would be, well, if you built it big enough, I mean, you could live in it, right?
Yeah, might as well. If you're going to be able to, if you got those resources, might as well. I mean,
So-
I was just thinking, like, build a basement and then afterwards build a nice hobbit house, like Cammy
Oh,
might have mentioned,
Yeah, so like he says, a lot of different strategies. As I said, was saying to you earlier, the other day, this guy was in central Minnesota, and he was determined on weathering out the pole shift right in his house. And he was in a very small town, right? Very small. There's probably only maybe 500 people in the town. I said, well, okay, that's not so bad, right? Right. So then we come up with an idea of building a bunker, pouring a bunker, or putting a tornado shelter in the basement, right? So you put one in the basement, but it's got to be elevated from the floor, because the basement's going to become a swimming pool during the pole shift, right? It'll fill, well, the house will get knocked off, all the rain will fall into the house, right? So now into the basement, and they'll start to rise, right? So then I said,
Right.
well,
So not only does it have to be a shelter, as a shelter where if the house collapses on it, he has to be able to get out and be
well,
okay.
it'll be blown away.
It's just going to get all.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking about it a few years ago. I was thinking, well, no, house is not a good idea because the house is going to collapse. No, if you look at the winds, they're going to blow. They're going to be blown away. Some stuff will fall in. You got to expect that, right? So, his guy was he was an excavator. He worked with excavators, right? So I said, well, okay, punch a hole at the bottom, right at the bottom of the basement, a big hole and then that's where the water will go out. You'll have to check it during the pole shift, come out, make sure it's not getting plugged up. And then dig a ditch. You're going to dig a ditch like for 20, 30 feet, right? And I make sure it's in a downward angle, and then have it dig a big hole at the back of the house for all the water to go, right? So
Giant French drain for your house.
yeah, exactly. So that was our basic plan, and he was going to elevate it, and so step up into and then weather up the pole shift in the basement. That's what we had, right? Let me go back to a few more discussions, ideas on shelters. Now there was one. This one here is kind of cool. right? Now, I wouldn't want to be in that, standing in the middle of a field somewhere. Although you probably could survive it, right? It would be battered.
But
It
I've
would
got
be
I've got a buddy who's got these metal silo things like mini, but they're like super strong, like thick tank. And then, yeah, they're above ground, but I'd almost think you could ride out whatever's coming in that.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Make sure you've got, well, I'd have to look at it to comment for sure,
Right.
but if it's a metal, and then you're definitely gonna want some serious ear protection. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine what that would sound like in there with rock hitting it? It would be, you'd be deafened, right? It would be.
Yeah.
But, so I had one idea of buying a tornado shelter. And now this door opens inward, which is what you want, right? And of course, you're going to want, usually these shelters, they have an emergency exit, right? In the back. So we only see the one side, right? So these shelters could be embedded in a garage, right? Ground level, on a pad, bolted down, right? So then you're in there for a day or two. Well, somebody was
So-
asking about.
Well, then Chris, you saw on my console, I could do this. I don't need to necessarily build anything underground. I could stick in a garage bay and just concrete that sucker up.
Yeah.
And there I can.
Bob's your uncle. But the thing is, remember we talked about visibility, right?
Well, in that case, well, again, that's what I'm saying is I just want to ride it out and then maybe relocate around the mountainside on the new south facing area.
Okay, yeah, but you've got a problem of moving supplies and
Yeah.
you got to work those logistics out, right?
Yeah, that's why I've got a group. I'm organizing. I love the idea of Ayana and husband and Cami and any contingents coming together.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I've had lots of people ask me, is there some way of getting people together?
Yeah.
And but I know Camille, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
I can tell what are they here? It looks like they're still here or not. Yeah, Ayana.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I've seen her face. I know she's good. Right. Once I see a person's face, I can tell. Right. So I don't mind connecting those, right? But for people that you don't know.
Right.
And so I've racked my brains how we could do it. Like you could have a website, a collaborative website, people get together, but then you're going to get some wolf coming in there.
It's always going to be an issue that a wolf is going to come in. But,
Yeah.
I think with this topic and this level of seriousness, yeah, I mean, people are going to have to be careful about that. But the
Yeah.
benefits of being able to team up are so much better.
Yeah, but what I worry about is the innocence.
Right.
That's what I worry about. I don't worry so much about the people, like, for example, yourself, you're all over this, right? And a few others I've met there, you're but it's just the innocent people that I wouldn't want to get.
Like someone could swoop in and be like, "Oh, hey, give me $100,000 and I've got a slot for you over here."
A few years ago, I can talk about this now, I guess, because about 6 years ago or so. Yes, a good 6 years. We befriended each other, a gal over the internet, and it was all around my early the Facebook group. It was like 6-7 years ago, and anyway, so I gave her some advice, and anyway, she paid me some money, and but she came back one time and said, what do you think of these silos? Like missile silos. You know how they convert them to these luxury bunkers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure you can see them. And I'm saying, oh, that's not a good idea, because you know, because if you just need one door to jam and it becomes a coffin. Right? Because they have elevators, right? And then they got steel doors. You just need one to jam and you're done. Yeah. And then, you know, and then you're stuck in there, right? So I said, no, this is not a good idea. And so she said, oh no, she came back. She said, oh, this one is really good. And this and that only cost me $10,000 or $50,000 or whatever it was, right? I'm saying, don't do it, don't do it. And so now she's not on Facebook anymore. I haven't seen her, right? So I think she's gone ahead and joined this group, right? And paid the money, you know. So that's what I worry about, you know. But there's nothing I could do. I was, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point, right? There's nothing you can do if a person gets in their head, right?
Hey, the world's ending. Don't worry too much about it. As we know it.
Yeah, as we know it. That's right.
Don't feel too bad.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So we've done a lot of talking here. So is anybody, Carl, hi, Carl. You've been patient waiting. Thank you. So you have a question, Carl? So do we have any other question while Carl's working out his microphone issue?
Greetings, Chris. I'd like to ask a question.
Oh, hi, in Vienna.
Yeah. Why should our bunker doors open inwards? No, outwards, I think, is it?
Yeah, no,
I'm
inwards.
thinking, what if sorry, say that again, please.
It should open inwards. The door should open inwards.
So if you're standing outside, we're stepping, we're pushing the door inwards, not pulling it out. Because the examples that I keep seeing you showing, if you're on the outside, you'd pull the door to step in.
Yeah, in some bunkers, that's where they're designed for some reason.
But we could have it how doors normally open. You push it to step in.
Yes.
Okay.
True.
That's
That's true.
clarification.
That's true. But the reason is that, but do you know the reason why?
No, I just thought if you have to pull it, what if it got blocked with something behind it?
Exactly. So
Okay.
there's one of those tornado bunkers that you have to open outward.
Okay.
Because
So
in Vienna, because
Hi.
think about it this way. Let's say you've got your shelter and you're in your shelter and just you're inside your door and you want to push the door out, but because the building collapsed around your shelter, now you can't push your way out.
Yeah.
So you're screwed kind of. But if you can just pull the door in, even there's
Inward.
crap outside, you can still hopefully get out.
Figure out to get out.
Okay, Carl, are you fixed up?
I hope. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Right on. How are you, neighbor?
Good.
Hey,
Are you living in BC?
I'm in Alberta,
Oh, okay. Well, we're kind of like neighbors, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just curious, how far up by Edmonton should I go? And second question would be, I'm thinking about building something very unique and amphibious made out of plastic where we can drive an amphibious vehicle inside of it and fully equipped, such as like an off-road Jeep kind of thing with all supplies and just wing it. That's it, because that's all I have and that's all I could think of right now.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're not in a position to buy property.
No,
Okay. Okay. So have you considered renting? Or
I have property in northern Quebec, but it's extremely harsh conditions. It's very I don't know how to say it. It's very hard to access to, and it's
Yeah.
far from here. I'm about 4,500 kilometers from northern Quebec.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not too shabby
Nope.
for a safe location.
Quebec or
It's not too shabby.
no? Okay, so I'm gonna stick with northern Alberta then.
Oh, what I'm saying is not too shabby. I'm saying it's not that bad.
Good.
Oh,
It's a pretty good northern Quebec. The only thing is, are you above the permafrost line? Are you north of the permafrost line?
where it's about 6 hours north of Montreal.
Do you have a little town? name?
It's about hour and a half from Val d'Or.
Oh, huh? Just a second here.
And then the hunting area would be about an hour and a half, extremely isolated. There's no
Wow.
neighbors.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep. Bought and paid for years ago.
I'm just kind of guesstimating.
Oh, for sure.
Sporadic. Well, okay. Okay, look, I'm just doing this by eye.
It's a really rocky environment over
Uh,
there.
Yeah, I know.
Not very good for growing anything.
I know, but you got a lot going for you, so.
Well, and then Chris and was it Carl?
Yes.
Because when the earth rotates, right, maybe it's not good for growing stuff now, but then maybe once things move around, it might be good, right?
He's talking
Yeah.
about soil.
Yeah, okay, soil ain't gonna change, huh?
Yeah,
No.
so, yeah, you're gonna be at about 40, 42, 43. Right, you're somewhere in here, right, roughly. Carl, so
Am I better off staying north of
I-
Alberta?
oh, no, my opinion is, well, first of all, you're below the permafrost line there. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's good, right? You're isolated. You don't have to worry about any survivor migrants. Maybe, like Val d'Or, how many people are living in there,
Yeah, but you gotta remember it's about hour and a half east from Val d'Or.
Yeah, east.
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's right
So
in the
you're up,
bush.
you're up in, are you up in the mountains here? Guess mountain, no, that's more. Are you up in the, can you see this? Are you up in the hills here?
It's it's not really mountains. It is straight east from Val d'Or. It's pretty just like kind of like Ontario-ish, you know? I don't know
Okay.
if you ever been there in Ontario.
I have, yeah.
It's-
Very
it's
limited
just-
amount, but, so is it off the 117 and the 113?
Yeah, it's directly east. Straight,
Okay.
pretty well straight. And there's all kinds of small water sources all around.
Yeah.
No, nothing big, but and there's
Okay,
no
well,
roads.
Yeah, well,
it's
you want to
warmer.
be, you want to be up, does your property have some elevation above the local water sources?
Uh, it's kind of really weird. It's built right on rocks, kind of, and it's
Yeah, but how close, how far down is the closest,
water source?
yeah, like a
Probably
lake
about
or a river
four-
or a bog?
there's a creek that's about 30 feet, and then there's all kinds of different water, small creeks and lakes all around the cabin.
Okay,
It's a great place for hunting, but for what we're talking about may not be because of the water. I was concerned about that.
okay.
The creek will probably grow into a river and sweep everything away in that area.
You're right. You've been doing your research.
Yeah. So
I'm getting that it's okay. My guide is saying that it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And let's say if I could make it, because it's 45-hour drive from here. I don't know if there'll be a time lapse, if we'll have enough, if I'll have enough time.
Well,
I
you'd
would-
want to, well, are you working, right? Are you still working?
I'm a drone pilot, so my job pretty well is over here right now, but a lot of times we go in British Columbia or oil field related kind of work. It
Okay.
depends,
Okay,
inspections.
so at some point you gotta break away and break away, right?
Yeah,
We all gotta make that decision, right? When do we break away, you know?
yeah. And
But I would say, definitely mid-fall. But the thing is, you get a long ways to go. And, you just need one washed out road or a bridge to be down out there.
I do a lot of off-roading. I got winches and pulley systems. I
Okay,
could go to places where men have never been before.
awesome. I've been saying that for years about Canada. There's so much space up there. I'm sure there's places that where nobody has ever walked before. I'm so
Oh,
glad
yeah.
to hear you. There's
Where I
so
come
much-
from, we own a couple of mountains up in the Acadian area in Gaspé, and we have a 200-kilometer trap line up there.
Who's
There's
we?
my family, which is we're up in Gaspé. They're gonna get swiped right out though. Gaspé is in the peninsula of
Yeah,
Carleton.
I know, but the gas pay is not that bad.
No,
Oh, it's not, it's pretty good.
we're in
Uh,
Carleton. We're right in the bay where when the water goes up,
Well,
everybody's
okay, but you don't want to be, I mean, depending, but the peninsula is good, right? And it gets a lift, right? Here in
Yeah,
the bullshit, it gets a lift up. So, um, so you've got some options there. I have to look at
yeah.
it.
But I've been in Alberta for such a long time.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, like, because, I thought Alberta was a good spot if we wanted to go north, but
Well,
That's what-
it is, but the only where I was going with it is that, well, if you are, if you're gonna squat, it sounds like you're gonna squat, right?
yeah,
Which can work,
I'm
right?
okay with that. I'm a survivor. I could probably handle it. I'm sure of it. I've been dealing with bears last weekend. 3 bears were stalking me, so I'm here to talk about it.
Okay, the bears, yeah,
Yeah, most people can't deal with bears, right?
yeah. No,
So Northern Alberta would be really quick for me. I could dig a hole, I could fabricate something really quick, and just hold on until the storm weighs out. Once I get out, then I drive out, then it's a new ball game. I would have to relocate and rebuild probably. Maybe
Yeah.
find a couple of people like-minded on the way. Who
Yeah.
knows, right?
yeah,
I'm just gotta have to wing it. Unless I meet a group that wants to take me in, then I'll join the club. But other than that, I'm
okay.
not. I haven't found the group yet.
Well, okay, well, so you need to set your intentions then.
I just want to survive and help rebuild. That's.
I know, okay, that's
Mhm.
fine, but,
I have lots
you-
of skills.
it's like typically what we do in life is like, okay, this is the deal. And we take a run at it, right?
Yeah. I've been winging it for 50
right.
plus years,
Well,
man.
I mean, you've got the skills, but what we've got coming here. I don't think you want to wing too much of it.
Well, not everyone has a bunker. For those who are blessed that way, they don't have skills, but they got the bunker.
Right.
I was gonna ask Carl, you might not have a bunker, you might not have $1 million, but you got a buddy, like one buddy to like team up with for the end of the world as you know it, because that goes a long way.
Everybody thinks I'm crazy at this point. So
Well, okay, so that's why, Carl, you set your intentions. It's very simple. You've heard me mention it earlier, right?
yep.
Okay, you decide that you want to be in a safe location, and you want to be guided there. And that you decide that in your own mind, right? And then you make that decision. You might want to want some soil or, but the idea is safe location, right? Right. See, so, I'm sure that the universe knows that you want to be in a safe location.
Yeah, exactly.
It knows that, but it wants, but the catacombs of the human experience are pretty, they're pretty circuitous, right? There's a lot of things going on inside our minds and our bodies, right? And our
Lot of
feelings,
variable.
right? Right?
Yep.
So that's why it's so important to set your intentions, is that you clear away all that and you decide that's what you want, rather than being, oh, should I do this or should I do that, or right? Or you have some doubts, about something.
I get these feelings a lot. Something keeps telling me to go to Quesnel, BC. I don't know why, only because I was born there, but I left at the age of 2 years old.
Yeah.
Quesnel, BC is up north in northern BC, but I don't know if it's another option or safe place to go either.
Well,
You
I
would
had a
know
dream.
better.
I had a dream the other night. I get dreams about what to tell people and safe location stuff sometimes. And this was for BC. You don't want to be in the mountains,
Yeah.
on the flat. Yeah, good. Except that, of course, Quesnel is going to flood like crazy, right? But
Oh yeah, look at
yeah,
that.
so if you're out in the on the these high what would you call that of it? These high
These
areas,
peaks. Yeah,
right? Plateaus. That's like a plateau there, right?
yeah.
These areas are they're great. Now I see there's quite a bit of yeah. Yeah.
It's a small cliquey town kind of thing, paper
Yeah.
mill and lots of
Yeah.
crime.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you
But
want
it's
to be
okay.
out, you want to, just say you want to be out in the, if you're thinking of going there, typically, well, you know what to do. You want to be out you don't want to be seen, right?
Yeah, you gotta go
The area,
great.
but the area works. The
Oh, yeah.
general area works, right? So, and then you've got that property and family
Quebec.
property, high property on the Gaspé Peninsula. High,
Well, the one in Val-d'Or is mine.
Yes,
And then the
but-
one in Gaspé is, it belongs to the family.
yeah, okay, belongs to
The
the
top
family,
one.
okay, but I mean, it's an option for you, right?
Yeah, the more options, the better, right?
Right, so your property, the family property in Gaspé, is it have some elevation from the sea?
Oh yeah, we're right at the end of the oldest mountains in the world, the end of the Appalachians, what is called the Laurentians.
Okay,
We own 2 mountains up there on a big trap line. But they're so old because when the mountains are old, they become flat, and then the
Yeah.
soil is like red in color.
good,
It's good, right? Volcanic soil is good. Or
Yeah,
it's not volcanic.
oh, yeah,
it is a beautiful little place, but yeah, just I don't talk to the family too often.
okay, all right, yeah,
Uh,
well.
I should-
You're the black sheep of the family, Carl, just like all of us on here.
yeah, it's pretty well it, right?
My friend Johnny and I were thinking today, maybe it's meant like that. They paired families up like that. They put like us and then like the other families like think for crazy. And they paired us up in every family.
It's horrible. I mean, I've been trying to wake people up and help people, and I gotta stop. It's getting me
Yeah.
more in trouble than anything else. you
It
know?
does. Just do your thing, right? And just keep forging forward and set the intentions that you want to meet people that are like mind.
That's
Well,
why
Carl-
I'm here with you guys.
There's a group
Okay.
here online. I
Yeah,
mean,
but-
check it out for yourself, but there's a group here called preppergroups.com. And they've got like 24 entries in Canada. The most recent is from August 17th. Looking for Ontario prepper groups, Kingston surrounding area. Now, caveat is you be careful on there, but just know there are people out there, preppergroups.com, who are looking to link up. And I mean, I'm linking it with people in my area now. So but I'm doing it. I know people around here, so I kind of know who to link up with. But if that's what you got, then
Yeah. Are you in Canada too, or?
Northern Nevada,
Okay.
right by the border with Oregon.
Prepper.
So I could always go, yeah,
I'll look that up. Thanks.
yeah, Winnemucca. I make no secret of it.
Nice.
I think it's a good spot, but I got to get water out. But I got people. Once we get the um, the machinery going, what do you call it, powered by the free energy stuff, then
Thermal
we can hook
energy.
it up to our pumps. We got pumps to go down to deep wells here. So we can just get alternative energy going. I've got water, we've got land, we got animals, we got people. Now we got communications and everything EMP proof for the big event. Then we can hopefully rebuild something, you know, and not because I don't want to be like with a VW bus in the middle of nowhere buried and like, here we go. Like that sucks.
Me,
Right,
I
Chris?
don't know.
Didn't like that picture.
You know, when that day comes, we're all gonna be probably in a plan that we didn't plan. Usually plans never work out the way we plan it. So,
Spoken like a real bushman, eh?
I'm serious. So
I know
if
you are.
just
I know.
always expect the worst and things will run smooth and just
Yeah.
roll with the punch. And
Yeah,
It's-
and on that point, you know, this whole free energy thing, Brian, I don't know. I would plan to have, you know, plan your water, make your water plan something you can do now that you can buy the equipment for now.
Oh, yeah, no, I've got that. What I'm gonna do is one of my goals in the next 2 months is to get one of these things built, because I have some handy friends and equipment around here. Get a proof of concept. If it works, I want to show it to y'all. Be like,
Oh,
hey,
totally.
you can have energy after in the after time, and you know. Sorry, I got a dog with a toy.
Oh, that's okay.
I was wondering what the heck's that?
Oh, I think it's a toy. Oh, I see.
Sounded like a squeaky alien.
It's a squeaky toy. She's going, "Wee," she wants treats.
Okay.
Well, right on. Thanks, Chris. I'll
Okay,
just hang
okay.
in there and let other people ask you questions.
Yeah, great. Okay, great. Well, thanks for your input, Carl. It's great. You got
Nice
some great
meeting you all.
options there. You got some great options. Yeah. Well, the question is, are they allowing Americans to move to Canada? And I don't know. I don't, but I know that the whole political landscape is being changed. You've heard me talk about that, Vass?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's coming down. It is coming down. I'm telling you, it's really happening.
We're going into revolution mode right away
Well,
here.
I think they're going to be able to sidestep that. I know that's on the verge for some people. But all the COVID stuff is all going to go. And that's after, I'm not sure if you know this, Carl, but we have a new leader for Canada.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you don't know. Okay, you're not in the know. Okay.
No, I don't know about that, but
Okay,
that
her
sounds
name
good
is
to me. If
Romana
it's a-
Didillo. Her name is Romana Didillo, and she's the Queen of Canada. Legit. And so how would you put it? The royalty, or the term, the name is escaping me now, but they gave her that term because all the laws in Canada require royal assent. Right? I'm not sure if you knew that. And the
It's a
Queen.
corporation. Canada's running.
Yeah, but
under-
no, not anymore. Canada is not a corporation anymore.
They need to wipe out the mainstream media right now. because
That's
a big
coming
virus.
this fall. Okay, that's all going, and they're resting, and they've been doing it for years, right? And so Trudeau's been executed, the original, right? And it's a lot going on, and so we're going to a level playing field.
So
Right?
then we're dealing with a clone that's on TV right now.
Not, yeah, that's what you're looking at. Not a clone, but a body double.
Body double actor.
Yeah,
And I feel sorry for the people that are brainwashed right now.
I know,
It's just
yeah.
So
So
divisive.
so all that's going away. So there's going to be a level playing field. The Canadian, the CRA's dismantled.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's
Wow.
happening. It's
Man,
happening. Right?
that sounds like a cool dream. I'm excited.
I follow her every word now, And,
How
you
can I
know,
find her? Can I follow her somewhere? or
yeah,
find
yeah.
her?
Do you have a Telegram account?
I think I do, but I haven't used it in a while.
Okay, I will post.
I'm being shadowed a lot, so I use Linux and Tor software so
too.
people can't track
I'm
me
a,
down.
I'm an exclusive Linux user since the year 2000. I'm
Cool.
running Linux right now.
Carl, I put it in the chat again. Chris already shared it, realrawnews.com. They're doing the rundown on the military tribunals, and they talk about Trudeau.
Yeah. Okay, and you can see the Romana's group there. I just
Now
wanted
we
to
see it.
check it
Yeah.
So this is for Voss too, because you know, there's a level playing field coming. And so there'll be much more cooperation between the US and Canada after the EBS broadcast, 10 days of blackout. And
The
then,
knock here. Am I dreaming? Am I hearing things here?
no, it's true, it's true, it's true. It's happening.
Wow, that
Can
sounds
I
like-
say-
I know.
Can I say, Chris? My worst case scenario nightmare was catastrophic, like pole shift and the New World Order at the
I know.
same time.
Me too.
Now the New World Order is being removed, but hey, we still got to deal with pole shift. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
but
there'll be time. We're gonna have you're gonna have a year. Right?
that's half the
new,
battle.
with the new regime, right? So.
So you figure by fall, this thing, this new government should be.
Yeah,
able to move
apparently,
in?
what I'm getting is that sometime this fall, see,
That's
Romana
good.
she doesn't actually come out and say, oh, this is, you know, this date and this is gonna happen, because they're still hunting down the New World Order guys and gals, right? They're still doing that, right?
Just how did she get, like, where did she come from? Did she get elected? Did she
Well,
get
yeah,
killed?
she was, no, she was appointed by the Canadian White Hat junta.
Ah,
That's my best guess. And she was the leader of the Canada First Party for 10 years.
okay.
And,
Gotcha.
and she's, okay. So I think I've told you before that I talked to all kinds of souls, and her oversoul is, I've had dialogues with him or whatever. And he said that she's been groomed since her sole purpose this lifetime is what she's doing right now. So, yeah, I was going to say, she apparently has got a birthmark on her body, the shape of Canada.
Oh.
Okay, so this is the real deal. Somebody, you know, there's a lot of people challenging her, right? Because they're probably paid to do it. And somebody came on the group, her group, and said that I'm in, and said that she'd been following Romana for 40 days, she said. And she said, there's no way that a person can how do they put it, impersonate a head of state publicly and not get arrested. Right?
Right.
I mean, it's against the law. Right? She'd be arrested. So the very fact that she hasn't been arrested, she's got, oh yeah, if you follow her and read her stuff and stay at it, you'll see. But I've already checked in on her energetically, right? And she's got great energy. And as I said, I've talked to her over soul already on a almost daily now. But she doesn't come out and say, "Oh, this is going to happen at this time," and no, she just follow her, and you'll see. Okay,
I will.
It's coming. On another vein, on a higher vein, I was reading the other day that Saint Germain, he's an ascended master, had brought the flame of freedom back to earth. And so Trump is Saint Germain. He is an aspect of Saint Germain. But the flame of freedom is a spiritual energy that's been brought back to earth. This is why all this is happening. So there you go. But it's the real deal. And okay, so she said that at some point in the fall, she will be flown out to an aircraft carrier, a nuclear aircraft carrier, and she'll be standing with the Canadian troops and with Trump and his troops on the aircraft carrier, and they'll be doing a 10-day broadcast explaining how the Democrats and the elite families that stole the last election and blah, blah, blah. They're going to lay it all out. At the same time, all the media companies are going down, and they're staying down. They're gone. All their satellites are taken out, right? And they're all gone. And the new satellites that replace them are the Starlink satellites, and that'll be the new internet and new. Yeah, I know it sounds like a pipe dream, you know. But
I know that they want to shut down the internet just to put people on their knees using this COVID ID if it goes through. But
yeah, that is okay. So what's happening meanwhile, you see, is the dark state, you know, the cabal, the NWO, the Illuminati people. They are doing as much damage as they can on the way out. Right. So they still control sections, you know, they still control the media. And but they're all being arrested slowly but surely, right?
I've been fighting with the media every day. I hate mainstream media. They lie every second. I fight them every day. I give them a hard time.
Yeah, you don't need to, because the Canadian troops and the global allied force are I've seen every once in a while she'll post a picture of all the airplanes, the jets, and the military aircraft that are in the air, right? And the suggestion is that they're busy flying, collecting all these, and that's why Australia is in lockdown. Angela, you still here? She might be gone, but anyways,
I'm still
are you still here, Angela?
Yeah.
This is why there's all this lockdown going on, is because they want to keep the people safe while they go about collecting all these people, and so that's another reason for the lockdowns. Vass is asking about Williams AZ. We're going back to Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
With Vass. Well, you know the basics, right? So I don't need to cover the basics, but so you're talking about obviously some area around Williams, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure, that works. Yeah, the hills, sure, you get a place up. Yeah. Yeah. Right, so.
Great. I'll send you some coordinates later.
Okay, you do that. And I'll call that.
Thank you.
Okay, but Angela, you've got the choice, right? If you get out, so.
I'll see what we can do. I really hope we can work on that.
Set the intention. You set the intention that you want.
I hope you don't mind.
You have the dream.
Sharing.
You have the dream.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You had the dream. You don't get those dreams for nothing.
That's so true. That's so true. And I mean, coincidentally, the fact that my aunt lives there, it means something. And
Yeah.
I don't really get to talk to her much. And it's so random that I dreamt of Canada because it was not really in my, at least my conscious, mind. So it's funny that it popped up. And now I'm talking to you guys, and you guys are from Canada, and you're telling me it's
Yeah.
an ideal place to be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good. Abby is asking about building a mud house made from there. Well, I love that idea. Oh yeah, I was, because that's a culture there, is building houses made from dry brick, or you can make, you make it their own bricks down there. You got the right kind of soil, right?
Yeah, but you can make it from the earth. You can use
Yeah, I
the-
know. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and you'll have the heat for that.
That be soft for the wind, the whatever's gonna happen. Like a bunker. Instead of having like a bunker, would that be sufficient?
Well, if you had it, well, if it was protected, so you'd use it like like concrete, right?
Okay.
So if you built something like that, and then you covered it with earth, that would work.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you dig out an area, right? A big trench, and you build your hut in there, and then backfilled it. Make sure it can handle the backfill. Then that would be good.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
it have to be substantial walls,
Right.
right? So if you're having somebody build that, make sure the walls are like 3 times thicker than what you normally have for a house, right?
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
much thicker.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
How about putting some of it underground maybe, and then putting
Yeah,
like a
that's-
dome around it?
Yeah,
If most it's,
that's what I was suggesting, that you dig out a hillside and build your mud hut in there, right? Super thick walls, right? And then backfill it all. See, it's all covered with soil, right? So that could work.
Mm.
So
But
it's not necessary to have cement then, Chris?
well, I mean, if you can get cement, the more strength you've got, the better. That's why I said if you made it
In the hillsides.
as you made it as thick and strong as possible. But we're just talking generalities here, right? So
well, may I ask, Abby, do you have things like down there where you have access to like tires? Because a lot of people, they just go to like, there's a dump, they got all these tires, they're just burning the tires. Round up tires, they're free, fill them up with earth. You build yourself like a tire rammed earth shelter. There you go. And then now you don't need concrete, and you've got these waste materials that people are giving you for free. They might come and dump it on your little plot of property. And you're like, I'll take your tires, I won't burn them.
yeah, that's awesome. That's an awesome suggestion.
Would the tires be able to withstand the shake?
Oh
of the
yeah,
earth?
oh yeah.
While you're recommending it?
Well, you're gonna fill them with soil and ram it,
Awesome.
or you're gonna fill them with mud.
Abby, I mean, have you ever heard of the term earth ship
Mhm.
houses? If you just Google earth ship houses in the chat, you just Google that. People make this stuff for cheap, and you can learn how to do it. And then you might be able to incorporate that, because people find all these found materials and they incorporate it in their earth ships. They didn't have to spend any money. It's eco-friendly, and those things, if you build it right, can handle what Chris is telling us about.
Okay. I only know mud houses, like cob.
This is a step up, but it incorporates some of that, but it's a step up because, hey, they didn't have tires and glass bottles that you could just, and aluminum cans that you can take and fill with dirt back then. But now that you're surrounded by a lot of this stuff, waste material, might as well incorporate that into building a structure. Now you don't have to pay money.
Okay.
Excuse me, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Regarding the
Yeah,
earthship
John, yeah.
shelter? Yes, is this prior to the shift or after?
Well,
This is-
preferably prior, if you can find the right spot and dig it in properly and locate it properly.
Yeah,
But
then
then
you've got-
after, this is probably what everyone's gonna be building.
Then you've got your house bunker, right?
And you don't have to be underground for this? I'm looking at.
Oh,
some-
yeah, you do. You want to be. You want to
You-
be
you can-
embedded in the hillside.
It's up to you how much of it you have above ground, you know, most people, they're not doing it like apocalypse for what we're prepping for. So their earth ships are a little bit more above ground, but nothing's stopping you from putting it more in ground.
I hear you. Okay.
Yeah. So then you
Thank
solve,
you, Brian.
then you solve the whole problem of transiting from your old style house on the property to your bunker or your trench, right? Because now you're right in, and it's a house. So you could have tea during the pole shift. I mean,
Now, just one caveat, the earth ships, when they're built right, they're supposed to be like, if you're in the northern hemisphere, south facing, you get the most sun. And this is why I make a big deal of, well, if north is going to become west now, then if you're going to build an earth ship, when you find your land, don't look for south facing land, look for east or whatever facing land, because then it'll rotate and then it'll be south facing.
because in North America,
It's south facing to get more sun.
the north becomes west,
Yeah. north
right?
and west.
But
Yeah.
in the case of Africa, north becomes east.
East.
Mm.
It rolls.
Okay.
Africa.
Yeah, because the mid-Atlantic is a dividing line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a, I see you trying to figure out.
You want to put that map up, Chris? Maybe
No.
you got that one map.
No, I'll show you. All right, so starting again. Okay, so here we have the Mid-Atlantic Ridge here. And this is one big S-shaped magnet, 10,000 miles long. And that's why when Earth rotation stoppage happens, it happens in this, so that the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is facing Nibiru as it approaches. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around like this. I'm going to back out. And if you follow my cursor here, Nibiru is doing this. Can you see the cursor?
Yes.
Okay, only it's much farther out. Okay, so it passes overhead of Earth. So again, now we are on Nibiru, okay, because we're facing the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, because it's like a deer in the headlights to Nibiru as it's passing by. Earth has to come to a rotational stop, and this is its configuration like that. Okay.
Whoever, as Nibiru passes, that magnet S thing is just going to lock on towards facing Nibiru.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it stops. Normally it's rotating, right, very slowly, right? But it's not. It comes to a stop from December 18, 2022 to January 28, 2023.
Sorry, is it the Earth that rotates or the Nibiru? I'm getting confused.
Okay.
It's the Earth rotating, but as the Earth rotates, Abby, it's going to, instead of rotating normally, like a 24-hour rotation, the rotation is going to stop because Nibiru takes a long time as it's passing by. The Earth is just going to, it's like our days, instead of a 24-hour day, imagine the daytime stopping. It's going to stay 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a couple hours.
Or for a couple of days.
For days.
Actually, for 6 days, actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
Okay, so that's rotation stoppage. That's what it means. Earth doesn't rotate anymore. Okay, and that's for a period of 6 days. Okay, that's because Nibiru is approaching, and let's do it again. We're seeing it from the side now. Nibiru is approaching Earth overhead, and it takes 6 days from the point where Earth comes to a rotational stop facing Nibiru with the Atlantic is facing Nibiru. So finally it grinds to a stop like that. And Nibiru passes overhead like that. Okay? Do you understand?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
understanding.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So now we have a stopped Earth. Okay. So the 6 days passes. Nibiru is at its closest, and what happens is it's the South Pole is snatched up, and in the case of 1 hour, in the time of 1 hour, the South Pole is pulled up to the equator. That's the pole shift. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, so, and it pulls up in the line down the center of the Atlantic, like that. Okay. Right up like that, because we are now looking from Nibiru's perspective at Earth. So it pulls it up like that. And by the time Antarctica gets to the equator, Nibiru is moved out so far out now, it's moving fast, it loses its grip on Earth and leaves Earth in this position. Okay. All right. Now, so as you can see, so we're going to change the perspective. We're going to roll here, look from the side. Now Nibiru is passing over this way, right? You get it?
Okay.
Right.
I'm trying to follow it. Yeah.
Well, when the Atlantic is facing on this side, then the perspective is that Nibiru is passing this way. But when we roll it over here, arbitrarily here, Nibiru is what we're doing is basically moving around the other side of Earth to see Nibiru going the same direction, only from this side of Earth, from Africa, it's going this direction.
Maybe
Right.
Chris,
Yeah.
maybe Chris, could you show us like how this, like once Nibiru's passed and the Earth is reoriented, instead of spinning around the way it's spinning now, could you show us the way, the new north, and then how it's going to rotate?
Yeah, well, this is
Yeah.
what I'm about to do. This is what I'm about to do. Yeah, thanks for saying that. I'm just trying to bring Abby along, right, on this, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so here we have Egypt, okay, in the normal configuration that we're all used to, right? Facing in the North Africa, right?
Right.
Now, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, during the time of the pole shift, we're going to put it over there and look at it from the side, and Nibiru is passing like this. So what happens is the South Pole gets pulled up like that. Okay.
Okay.
So that
Right.
that makes the North become East.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that makes more sense to me now.
okay.
I could
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So, but for North America and South America, because we were on the other side of the globe, don't forget, the globe is being pulled up in this line, right? So for North America and South America, let's put the Mid-Atlantic Ridge over up to the side, so we can look at South America and North America while the pole shift happens. Okay, Nibiru is passing up like that. So what happens again is that for North America and South America, the globe is pulled up the same way, only seeing it from a different angle. And that puts, okay, let's go back. So that makes, for example, Northern Canada, okay, focus on Northern Canada here. So pole shift happens, north becomes west. Okay. And it's the same thing happening over on the other side of the globe, only the north becomes east. Okay. That's
Okay.
okay. So that's why we are talking about, I showed you this so you understand that what Brian was saying.
Sorry, I hope you don't mind my asking. So, do you mind if we have a look at the Philippines? So, as far as the Philippines is concerned, north also becomes east in our context.
Oh, so
Yeah.
well, but you're going to be in Manitoba.
That's very true. That's a good point.
Well, okay, in the case of your countrymen, I got to explain something. Okay. Okay. When the pole shift happens, the mid-Atlantic ridge, the Atlantic widens considerably. Okay. That's why we've got a mid-Atlantic ridge in the first place, is because of all the prior pole shifts. Every pole shift, the Atlantic widens, and then magma comes up and forms that mountain range. Okay, so it might be easier if I showed it to you. Go back to the earth to it, right? So every time there's a pole shift, you have Africa and South America separate. So as we all well know, South America nestled right into the bay of, I forget the name of this bay. Anyways, at many millions of years ago, South America was nestled right in here with Africa, right? So it's taken, like eons of pole shifts, slowly spreading Africa and South America apart. This is why this mountain range is formed from all the cooled magma that comes up from the core of Earth, from the magma comes up, and it's full of iron. Magma has a lot of iron in it, and so when it comes up, it as it cools, it becomes magnetic, according to the wherever the Earth's magnetic field is pointing. But essentially, it's magnetic. Okay. Now, why was I saying that? All right. So this pole shift, we know by Zeta Talk that the new South Pole is positioned just south of where India was. India is going to go down under the waves. The entire subcontinent of India gets driven underneath the Himalayas. Okay. So stop me if you don't understand something. Okay. Angela?
Following so far.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. You just interrupt me if I.
okay.
All right. So we know the new South Pole will be here. And now we also know by Zeta Talk that the new North Pole will be off the bulge of Brazil right here. Okay, this will be the new North Pole. Now, when we do this roll, right, the roll that you saw earlier, let me do it again. We put the mid-Atlantic ridge at 90 degrees to our view. So we're looking at it from the side, and we pull the South Pole up and do that. Now, this is a fact. These are facts, right? The Zeta Talk has given us. So why is India not down here? Because it's supposed to be the new South Pole. Okay. So that's the question, right? And it affects the Philippines and Malaysia and I think we call it Southeast Asia, but anyways, this area here. Why is that not, right down next to why is India not down here? Okay, and I'm about to tell you the answer. Okay, it's because that's how massively the Atlantic is going to widen during.
Okay.
You
Okay,
getting
I
it,
super
right?
get it. Yeah, I super get
Yeah,
it
the
now.
Pacific compresses greatly. And yeah, okay, so just for the sake of the video, yeah, so then I calculated it's about 6,000 miles that the Atlantic will increase in width.
What?
I did the measurements because if you put a marker here, I put markers on, he's saying. Anyway, I put a marker there and I put a marker on, but look how close you can see them. You see there? That's where the new North Pole will be. And this is where the new South Pole will be. Well, how is it you can see them at a glance? Right? It's because the massive amount that the Atlantic will widen and that the Pacific will correspondingly compress.
Is that where Atlantis is going to come up and then
Oh,
Lemuria is
no,
going to come
Atlantis
up?
is, no, Atlantis, I did, it's in my book. I researched it. Atlantis is here. That's where Atlantis is. And it's,
And is it slated to reemerge?
no,
Because
it
Edgar
isn't.
Casey.
No, it isn't. It can't, because you see, because the Atlantic is widening by thousands of miles. What happens is that the continental support of the Atlantic sea plates, sea bottom of the Atlantic is going to lose support, massive support. That's why Western Europe sinks about 50 feet, and parts of England sinks even more, because this is being stretched out, so it drops down. And it's the same with, and that's part of the reason why the new Madrid is going to happen, is because of the pull, right? This whole area is under negative pressure during the pole shift, right? All negative. So Africa gets pulled to the east, and South America gets pulled massively to the west, separating and opening up the Atlantic. So all these areas, with the exception of Africa, by the way, because Africa, for some reason, is a very solid continent, and it moves, but it doesn't sink. And to go back to finish up, Angela, so we've got so that moves so that's why the South Pole will be here, and that's why I've got a rough calculation that the Luzon, right, will be just on the Arctic Circle itself, right? But Cambodia and Malaysia and the island of Sumatra and Burma, Myanmar, Thailand are all going to be frozen wasteland.
Because it sounds like even if you could survive the pole shift afterwards, ain't going to be much fun.
That's right. That's why I say with Luzon or these islands here, well, you're on the Arctic Circle. That's like, okay, that's like northern Canada. It's doable and it's livable. People live there.
Yeah.
But you're going from a hot country to a frozen country, right?
Yeah.
The 2 months of summer. And then you've got volcanoes dropping ash, right? So you have to live underground and fish from the sea.
Yeah, we live in one of the coldest climates in the world. We get up to minus
That's Carl.
55,
Yeah,
minus 55 degrees,
yeah,
colder than Siberia.
yeah,
It's cold.
yeah. So that's like northern Alberta.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's like, as an expletive, cold.
Yeah, we get freeze bite within 10 seconds.
I remember my aunt, she moved to Manitoba maybe about 15 years ago, and that was one of the biggest challenges. We're so used to tropical weather and extreme heat, like 23 degrees is actually our air conditioning temperature here. So you can imagine how hot it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so when she got to Manitoba, she was having such a hard time with like 15-degree weather even. So
But,
thank you
but,
for
but Manitoba is here after the pole shift, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like the same as Namibia in the southern hemisphere. Like that's like Mexico temperature, which is nice and warm. Okay? Yeah, so she'll be happier because it's going to be warm.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you so much for the information. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so Diane is asking, you're welcome, Angela. So we're also, can you show New Zealand on that map during the, or we could start with the Zeta Talk map here. New Zealand is right on the equator. So super hot. Late night for New Zealand, because I know in the Atlantic it'll be sun, right? So you'll have darkness for 6 days, Diane. Okay. Okay.
Does it get super cold on this side? That's 6 days of darkness?
Yeah, I guess it will. I don't know if it gets super cold, but I guess if it's winter, if you had, if it was, it will be, well, it depends if you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, right? It's very hard to say because there's earth wobble and there's going to be mixture of air currents get mixing all over. So it's very hard to tell.
And then on top of that, losing atmosphere, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It just means low cloud. It also means you don't want to be at 15,000 feet. Chile. For
No air.
example, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the other little twist that when I'm talking about Chile, right? Because it's so high in the Andes area. Final burning questions we cover.
Real quick one, Anchorage, Alaska. I got a buddy. We're trying to get him down here to join us in Winnemucca, Nevada, instead of stay up there in Anchorage because we're not sure how well that's going to ride out. And it's kind of like, come on, Thomas, get down here.
Okay. Well, he's living in a state that's pretty much populated by preppers.
Yeah, he's a prepper, exactly. So it's a great spot for that.
Except that only the northeast of Alaska will escape the much of the volcanic ash, right? So he has to move to the northeast. Anchorage is close to the south, right? Close to the yeah. So
okay. So even if he's got this awesome aircraft hangar set up, blah blah blah, equipment, gear, blah, he might as well be down here with us at that point then.
Well, yeah, we just have to see what you can convince him, but yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, then we'll just say good night. Well, in my case, I'm saying good night and
Thanks.
and
Good night, everyone. Nice meeting you all finally.
Yeah, I'm glad you came in. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grace. Good night.
Sorry,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you
for
for
heading
your
off
time.
for the
I
end.
really appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, Angela.
Till next time. I'll be
Thank
back.
you. Gratitude.
Okay. Yeah. Okay,
Good night,
Melanie, good to
everyone.
see you.
Bye. Take care.
Okay.
Bye. Bye,
Okay.
Chris. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.